Upcoming episodes on the Flying Monkey podcast. Country music artist Grant Malloy Smith. 3-time Grammy Award winner Ricky Cage. Actor-musician, the one and only Chris Mulkey. Father's rights advocate Robert Garza. And new episodes of Parent Stories. Go to flyingmonkeypodcast.com and select your favorite social media site to join us. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Rumble. The Flying Monkey Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Flying Monkey Podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, actor Chris Mulkey. And besides being just an actor, he's a musician, an actor, a writer, a producer, and just an all-around awesome guy. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. Tommy, what's up?
What's up, my man? It's good to see you.
Yeah, I just been answering phone calls and setting up projects and yeah, we're doing it. We're due for a cup of coffee and a sandwich pretty quick here, you know.
Yeah, and some acoustic guitar jams.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll meet over there at Custom Tailored.
That'd be good.
That would be cool. That would.
He's in Bora Bora right now, Keith. He's on a cruise, and you know this, Tommy, but I'll tell it to your viewers. So our friend Keith went up, flew to Seattle, got on a ship, and sailed from Seattle to Hawaii to Bora Bora to Tahiti to Fiji and eventually, to Australia, one of those ports down there, and then they're going to swim back. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be
cool. And they didn't invite us. What's wrong with that? Something's wrong with that.
That's not good. Yeah.
Maybe his cards this year.
Break his heart.
Nah. Break his heart. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know who I'm talking to, which I'd find hard to believe, Chris has been in hundreds and hundreds of TV shows and movies and, theater productions. And he even might have caught him at the House of Blues or at some blues jam festival somewhere around the country playing his music too. And so just for a few names of things that you've done, I mean, I was looking up some of it that I didn't even realize you were in. And I've seen, every time I turn on the TV, I see you. But, Rambo, Captain Phillips, Twin Peaks, Boardwalk Empire, NCIS, Friday Night Lights, Hawaii Five-0, and hundreds more. So I'll stop there.
I'm going out to North Carolina to do a new series called Blue Ridge, which is kind of like a murder she wrote in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I play a NASCAR team owner, and it's a really coul role. I'm doing it with the same director that I did a really cool cowboy movie with a couple years ago that you all should watch called Far Haven, an 1880s Western with Brady Chase and me and, Marty Cove and Bruce Boxleitner. It's cool.
There's a lot of people that have dreams and aspirations of doing stuff that you do. And, so what was it that you felt was your calling as a youngster to entertain, to want to be in film, music or movies, or
Well, I won 2 years in a row. I won the Spear Lake, Iowa grade school Halloween competition. The first year I was a hobo and I put on a beard and tattered clothes, and then the second year I was Zorro. I played and switched it up on him. And so, but really I was a kind of athlete in high school, and I had no interest in doing anything but that. And then when I went to college, I played some sports briefly, and then I took an elective course, a non-major course in acting, because my friend George Finley was a baseball player at the University of Minnesota and said, should take that acting. I said, all actors are crazy. I don't man, that'd be you like Marlon Brando in The Wild One, and you like Lee Marvin, old movies. And I said, yeah. He said, well, that's acting. I said, all right. So I took the course, and I changed my major from history, and I stopped wrestling, and I just went actor. And that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's
so yeah,
George,
so
George Finley.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. You see, it's yeah, sometimes you just never know where life's going to take you. You know, it's a totally opposite path that you thought originally. What sports did you play? You did wrestling?
Well, I played football, man. I was a wrestler. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Did
did
did you
well.
play any hockey there in Minnesota
Oh yeah,
area?
sure. I played hockey. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
played hockey. Yeah. You know,
And
it
I
was
moved.
crazy when we played hockey. Look, we didn't, we didn't have any mouthpieces. We didn't have any helmets. It was just, nobody wore it back in the day. It's
Oh
wild.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we used to flood our rink. We had three houses. Well, we lived in a house, and then the house next to us, and all 3 yards, we flooded all 3 yards with with water, and it froze, and so we had a hockey rink, and so then all the neighborhood it was an Irish Catholic neighborhood, and there was like a ton of kids. I think there was 30 kids on my block,
Wow.
and half of them were boys, and all of them played hockey. So it was like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You had your own ice rink. Yeah, I grew up in the same kind of neighborhood. So we had, I don't know if we had 30, but we had a lot. It was
Mm.
always like the little rascals, that's for sure. That was the one real cool thing about moving to Minnesota was that in the wintertime, every park that I in sight had put up a hockey rink. And the
Yep.
coolest thing, we'd go there and play, but the coolest thing ever for us is we lived in Bloomington and Bud Grant on snow days when we couldn't go to school and we're all getting our hockey stuff and our skates ready to go down to the lake on Anderson Lake, and he'd plow it off and for the local kids to go out and play hockey.
Were you in Hobson's or Wayzata, or where were you at? What was the town?
Uh, no, with Bloomington. Yeah, we're in
Bloomington,
Bloomington.
just Bloomington. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he had a house right there on Bush Lake Road, um,
Wow.
between Anderson and Bush Lakes. Yeah, we used to
Yeah,
go
my
fishing
my
there and hockey.
my in-laws lived over there.
Yeah, it's a nice area. Yeah, cold as cold can get, though. I'll tell you that.
That's why I live in Minnesota. I raised my kids in Minnesota in Los Angeles, but every year we would go back to Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's great. It's fun. So, back to your career stuff. What was the first like major production that you were in that kind of launched your career?
Oh, wow. I guess, I think that really the thing that really helped was I came out here. I was working at a classical repertory theater, and I produced a film there. And I took it out to the American Film Institute in Hollywood, and I wanted to be a fellow there, but they didn't accept me. So I just hung around I took a leave of absence for the theater, and I worked for 3 months, and I worked on everybody's thesis film. I worked on 5 films. I was, you know, um, assistant director, best boy, electric, dolly grip, the whole deal. And learned how to, learned what a professional set was like. And our set was really good on the feature that I produced. But and then when I was there, Clint Eastwood came and
Wow.
to give a talk. And at that point, he wasn't really a movie star. He had just done, I think, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and he was going to give a lecture in. We were in the Greystone Mansion in Beverly Hills, and so we were in the parlor there, right off Sunset and Doheny, and for all you guys who live here, and only 10 people showed up, and I was one of the 10, and I wasn't even a member of the AFI, but I showed up. So he went around the room and asked everybody what they wanted to do, and I said, "Well, I want to get over as an actor." That's a quote. I want to get over as an actor. And he said, "Yeah, well, cool." He said, "Go back to Minnesota when you're done here, get with your buddy and write a screenplay. You star in it, you produce it, don't direct it." And I did, and I went back to Minnesota, and I raised the money, and we shot. It was that shot 18 days, and we won the USA Film Festival, and we played around the world. It was called Loose Ends, black and white feature. It's a great film, and John Paul Hammond did the music for it.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it
that's
was cool.
amazing. That's
And that was my big break. And so then I quit the theater, came out to Los Angeles, got an agent right away because I had a feature film that I starred in, and started doing Beretta, Rockford Files, and all kinds of
oh
stuff.
yeah,
And the first really big break was Rambo First Blood, because that was a huge film.
yeah, yeah. I remember when that came out. I was a little guy, but yeah, my dad and I would watch that, and I remember, yeah, I was looking at going, "That's Chris."
There he is. I look like I'm 2 years old. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
know.
was great. So that was a long time ago. It was
That's
40,
awesome.
2 years ago.
Was it
Yikes.
that long? God, time flies, doesn't it? It really
Yeah,
does. It really does.
my daughter Amelia was born on that set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my wife was pregnant, and so I flew her up because I said we're gonna end up having this baby in Canada. So we flew up, and then got a pediatrician there, and I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and her water broke, and I took her to the hospital, and then I called the AD, Tommy, and I said I can't come to work today. And he said, the guy goes, "What? You can't just do that. You're one of the co-stars of the film." I said, "My wife just broke water. Um, no, I can't come." He said, "You have to come." I said, "Okay, well, how about this? I quit the film. I quit." He said, "No, no, 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 no. We'll take it." I said, I was emotional, boy. I was emotional. And so the doctor said she won't have the baby until 5:30 at night. So I arranged, um, I went to work, and we're shooting this scene, and it got to be 3 o'clock, and we're in the woods somewhere, and I turned to Brian Dennehy, the late Brian Dennehy, great actor, and
Yeah.
I said, "Brian, I got to get out of here. I'm going to run for it." And he goes, "No, I'll get your car. I'll get your car." So Ted Kotcheff, the director, said, "Oh, you're having a baby? Get a driver, get him in there." So I got in there at 4:30, and at 5:30 we had Amelia. Yeah,
Wow. That's awesome. So it all worked out perfect.
it really did. Yeah. So I didn't quit the film. What? You
Yeah.
can't quit?
Well, you got to play hardball sometimes, right?
Yes, you do. Get
You
what you
do.
want. Yeah.
That's
So
right. That's right. So, and this is probably a hard question to answer. Because even like when people would ask me about songs, like, what's your favorite? I'm like, I don't, it's so hard to pick. But what would be one of the most memorable or your favorite production or film or theater production, anything? Like, what was like one of the things you remember the most or had the best time doing?
well, I come from the theater, and one of the best theater experiences I had, I was in New York doing a play called Pure Confidence, which was about the economics of slavery, and it took place in the 1850s and 60s. And I co-starred with Gavin Lawrence, an amazing actor, and my late wife, Karen Landry. And
Yeah,
we had a great run in New York that was called Pure Confidence, a great, great play. But I've done like 100 plays.
I know.
But then, doing Loose Ends, that first one that I did, and then 10 years later, I collaborated with my late wife and the other actor, John Jenkins, on Patty Rocks, and we won Sundance and got a great distribution deal and played all over the world.
That's
So
great.
but also, I was talking the other day, I've done three very significant pro women kind of feminist films. I did um I did a film called Roe versus Wade
Okay.
about the adjudication of that Supreme Court with Holly Hunter and Amy Madigan, Ed Harris's wife. Amy, we played the two attorneys. I did that one, and then I did North Country with Woody Harrelson and Charlize Theron
Oh
about
yeah, that was good.
sexual harassment in the mines in Minnesota. And
Yes.
more recently, I did a film called On the Basis of Sex, and it was an autobiography of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh wow.
So I've done three of those. And I'm really proud of all three of those films.
Yeah, that's great.
But
That's
one of the
great.
most fun films I did was Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah.
We got 4 Academy Award nominations, won one. Yeah, it's cool. So I'm lucky. I'm thankful, man. It's
Yeah,
good.
but yeah, it's when you get to have a lot of luck with your career doing something you love to do, you can't ask for more.
I auditioned for Starsky and Hutch a whole bunch of times. 5 times they never hired me.
Wow.
And I knew David Soul. That was for you youngsters. That was a 1980s like action show.
Yeah, yeah. You should have said, let's write a song and jammed a little. It might have changed things, huh?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I
Because
knew
I
him.
remember he,
I bet, TV is like you just have to go. When in football, when the whistle blows and the guy gets up off the ground, he hands the ball to the referee. Referee puts that ball down, blows the whistle again, and he goes, "We're going that way." And that's what you have to do. Just next.
this way, who are some of the most funnest or coolest people that you've worked with that you've had a great time creating film with or
Oh,
theater?
Gene Hackman. I worked with Gene Hackman when I was a kid, back like I was 27 or something like that. We did this thing called All Night Long. It was me and Dennis Quaid. I've done like five things with Dennis. Um, and then it was All Night Long. It was a all night drugstore, and Hackman loses his job and has to manage a thrifty drugstore and all the crazy people. I was this over adrenalized security guard who was always kicking someone's ass, and Gene was fantastic. And I thought, and I just thought when I grow up, I want to end up and look back and go, you know, I want to be like Gene Hackman, and I've been pretty close to being that. I haven't won an Academy Award certainly, but as far as tenor on the set and stuff like that, and interest, and he's a fun guy, and he's pretty cool. So yeah, Gene
Yeah,
Hackman. I
he's
worked with
great.
De Niro. De Niro's cool. I mean, who else is cool? I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's tons. You'd mentioned the situation with, Clint and then Gene too. But
Mhm.
who would you consider like maybe your mentor in the
My,
industry,
my mentor.
if there was one,
I don't
or
know.
inspiration?
Well, you know, there's a guy, there's an actor that was in Mean Streets with De Niro. He ran the bar in Mean Streets, and his name is David Proval. And
Okay.
he was running an acting workshop, a Meisner technique acting workshop. And who's in the and so every Friday night we would get together on Melrose in Hollywood in this little theater, and we do Meisner exercises, which are just basically situational improv situations. And who's in the class? Me, of course, John Voight,
Oh,
Brad Delriff, Andy Garcia, Stephen Bauer, Karen Black, Margot Kidder. Man, I mean, just it was really cool. And
that
and
must have been fun.
yeah, David was one of the stars of The Sopranos, the mafia film,
Yeah, yeah.
TV series. And yeah, and I just talked to him. How old is he now? He's like 82. He just did a film. But
Wow.
yeah, I'd say David's like my confidant and a really cool guy. He told me a story one time. He was up in Beechwood Canyon, and David De Niro was there with a couple of those the New York guys, and so Bobby goes like, "So what are you doing, David?" He says, I met with Friedkin over at Universal, and he wanted me to do this part in this movie. This is bullshit. I don't want to do that thing. It's like, and so what'd you do? I walked out on him. I told him, forget about it. And so De Niro says, "So what have you been doing then?" He says, "I'm at home, watching baseball." He says, De Niro says, "So." That watching baseball is not doing the work. Sitting on the couch is not doing the work. The work is the work. I always do the work. And, I mean, whether it was Tino did like Boxcar Mama, and I mean, just all kinds. These little action films in the late '60s. And do the work.
Yeah. So when I talk to you, just, checking in every once in a while when we get to say hi to each other, I catch you saying, I'm working here.
I'm working here. Yeah, my Instagram is Mr. Chris Mulkey, and that's always I'm working here. I'm working
Yeah.
here.
Did that originate from that conversation? Or
Um, Actually, it originated from there's John Voight did a movie with Dustin Hoffman called Midnight Cowboy, which is a fantastic movie,
yeah.
and back in the day, and the two of them are walking across a lower Manhattan scummy neighborhood, and this guy runs a stoplight and almost hits both of them, and and uh, and Dustin Hoffman's character bangs on the hood of the car and yells, "I'm walking here. I'm
Yeah.
walking here." Right? And then I don't know. What was this? I just from walking to working, I don't know. I just about maybe. Oh, so I, I'm doing this movie in Dallas, Texas, called it's a really cool movie, um, called The Incident at Sparrow Creek, and it's about a militia. It's about a right-wing militia, and they're going. And anyhow, it's a really great drama. Um, and I had an assistant director that always called us too early to the set. So maybe we're shooting your scene, Tommy, and then but you know, I don't want to be on the set when you're doing your scene and I'm not in it. So so I'll be studying I study in my trailer, play guitar, do something, but not be there. So, but he would always go, Chris, get Chris Mulkey in here, and I'd go and they're not done with the scene, right? I was going, why am I here? Just hang on. I said, but I've done like 100 movies, right? And you're wasting the time. So one time they called me and said, we want you on the set. I said, what scene are you on? It's down 28. And I said, well, I'm in 29. Well, we want you here. And so I shot a video. It's the first one in and I'm working here, Mr. Chris Mulkey, and I'm just I have a hammer. We're in this warehouse, and I have a hammer, and I'm going bam, bam, bam. I'm working here. Yeah, I'll be right with you. I'm just doing some work here. Bam, bam. And I pick up saw. And I go, ziz. I'm working here. I'm almost done. I'm real close.
Too funny.
So that
So
was
that's where that came from then.
yeah, it
I
was
had to ask that. That's
I'm
funny.
working here.
That's great. So what projects are you working on now? What's coming up or coming out?
Let me see. Well, coming up and coming out are two different things. Coming out
Yep.
is The Inheritance, which I did the music for, which is a
Oh,
feature
cool.
film, is playing at the in the Twin Cities Film Festival in Minneapolis, and they're getting distribution set up. And I did that with Austin Highsmith, who is a Morgan Freeman protege, and
Oh,
so
nice.
that's coming out. And then you can see me on I think there's three films right now. Deadland on Amazon Prime. Farhaven is out there, and Rock Bottom with Jake Bon Jovi about the reunion of a '90s hair band. It's really
No
cool.
kidding.
Yeah,
Jake Bon Jovi.
yeah. Jake Bon, he's great, and it's really cool. It's really fun. We won the Hollywood Film Festival, and it's playing all over the world now. But
That's awesome.
I'm next week. I go to North Carolina to do a TV series that I'm going to reoccur on called Blue Ridge, which is an Appalachian story. It takes place in a small town in North Carolina, and I play a guy who owns a NASCAR team, a
Cool,
rich
cool.
racing guy. And those guys, I wrote a script about those guys, so I know a lot about those guys, and those guys are for real. I did a ride along at the Phoenix race, and so I went around the track about 6 times at 165, 170 miles an hour.
Wow.
I had to get out of the car. I'm done now. I'm done now. Okay. I need a Coke. Have to go have a fizzy Coke, settle
Oh
my
yeah.
stomach. I'm fine. But I'm doing that. But also, I'm producing a film that my daughter is going to direct. Excuse me, called Floating, and it's a contemporary Western set in Montana. Two rodeo riders in love with the same girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
So
a fight in that one.
yeah, there's gonna be some fighting. Yep, there's gonna be a bunch of hugging and kissing and fighting.
Yeah, yeah, that makes for a great film.
Yeah, and
Good stuff.
I play the old singer songwriter who was hanging out at the cafe giving advice.
Jovi, so now you reminded me there's lots of music that you've done too. Um,
Okay.
have you recorded anything new recently? I mean, I know you
Uh,
got a bunch of records that you've done, but
I have two albums coming out. One that we talked about Keith Taylor, And at
Okay.
Keith's studio, Keith, we went back through because I play a lot of like, you know, Americana and blues. And so I went through my albums, my records, and my 8 tracks. No, and I, and I called out um, all the straight up blues tunes. And so I'm releasing an album of 21. I know it's a lot of tracks, but they fit on there.
Wow.
21 stoned, stone cold blues tracks and great songs. And I've sold like 50 songs to TV and movies, and people have
Yeah.
covered them. So so that's coming out. And then Scarlett Rivera from Bob Dylan's band is a violinist, fiddle player, and she and I have a group, and we're playing together. And we just had a great show at Harbell's in Santa Monica. We recorded it, and we're going to release a 12-track live album. And so
Awesome.
I did that with Keith too. But I've got some writing projects. I'm writing in North Carolina, and then I'm going to jump on this. I was just talking to Eric, my friend who's from Nashville, and I'm going to jump on his record. And so, yeah, Tommy, I'm busy. Shoot.
Well, the last time I saw you, it wasn't planned. I was going to see Keith and Gene and then Steve McClintock. And
Yeah,
then I
right.
walk in, but then I come in and who's playing?
Me.
Mr. Chris Mulkey's rocking and rolling up there. And you play that one Christmas song. I don't even remember the title of it, but
I can spank me Santa.
Spank Me Sand. There it goes. It came to me right after I said I couldn't remember, but that's it. Yeah, that's
I did. I
amazing.
did it. I have a great song. He loves the other song, "At Christmas Time in Hades," which is great. Well, it's Christmas time in Hades. All the poor souls want to get out. The devil cracks his whip, sings the Yuletide blues, and all the sinners jump and shout. He says, "You should have done your homework. You drank too much and you lied in bed. Now shut your trap, put on my strap, and pull my big coal sled. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell all the way."
Are both that song, is that on your Christmas record?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was, yeah. I have 5 of them, but my name on for my Christmas records, we have 5 of them with Chris Klein, is it's Vic Mulkey and the Blue Veins,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can just click on your phone and go play Chris Mulkey and the Blue Veins, and they'll play, how many? So 5 albums, five. Well, that's 50 times. It's like 60 songs.
Yeah, that's a lot of music.
It's
Yeah.
all like it's all real like I don't know, Albert Collins, um Jimmy Reed kind of, blues. It's Christmas
Yeah.
blues. Not I think we wrote a couple of sacred songs. That's Where the Savior Came From is a great song. And yeah, you know. But Christmas Time in Hades is good. Spank Me Santa. I want a Harley for Christmas. And I do actually, for y'all out there, go fund me. Give me a Harley. I mean, I could buy one, but it's better to have it as a gift, don't you think?
I agree. It is. It's much better to get as a gift. All right. Well, our time's running up here, Chris. So I really, really wanted to say thank you for coming on the show and telling us some great, awesome stories. It's great to see you as always. And
Well,
hopefully we can catch up in a few months and have you on again and see what other projects you might be working on.
yeah, it's great. And for everybody out there, Tommy's a great singer, songwriter, and performer, and you should catch him wherever you can. So I try to steal just about everything he does.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Chris. All right, my man. Well, you take care. You have a great day and good luck on your. Are you guys going to Montana to record that to film there? Are you
Yeah,
on
we're going to
location?
Montana. Yeah, we're going to the Ruby Valley. Yeah, we're going to
Sweet.
go out there. So it'll be
All
good.
right.
Well, thanks for having me on, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Will do. All right, my man. You take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching the Flying Monkey podcast. Like, follow, and subscribe to our social media sites on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, and Truth Social. You can also go straight to our webpage at www.flyingmonkeypodcast.com.